It was always like, okay, rap, sing, buy jewelry, do interviews.
Right after that big ass chain.
You
still have it?
Melted it down.
I got it back.
Oh, you got it back.
I got it
I
back.
thought you said you melted it down.
I did. We did another one.
Oh, wow.
He says I'm over jewelry. Yeah, I did another one though.
Much cheaper this time.
It's fake?
Most of it.
Got you.
Just kind of, I really needed it to frame it. I'm putting it in a shadow box.
Okay.
So it's not
When it comes to like
$400,000.
when it comes to
Hold on 1 second. Was that what your biggest expense that you ever bought? The biggest thing that you spent
His
besides
house?
the house? That was just 2 left?
Nah, Bugatti. I paid for that straight up.
you still got it?
Oh,
he got rid of that like a week later. How much was that Bugatti?
1.2.
Sheesh.
And you spent $1.2 million
Yeah.
and got rid of it a week later.
Not a week later. I had it for about 5 months.
And why'd you get rid of it? They said you needed brakes or something?
I broke
tires?
it. I put a hole in the radiator.
Drifting?
No. No. I just found out you can do that, though. So, Uzi Vert, take note. You can do it. You can drift. But if you put a hole in one of the 4 radiators, they have to replace all the radiators. And that's,
Lord have mercy.
And that's $90,000. And I didn't want to do that.
So you just decided to let it go?
Yeah. Because at that point, that's when I was running out of money. You know what I'm saying? And that's when my accountant was like, dude, you just bought a Bugatti. You're like out of money. And I was like, no, I'm not. I got this house I want to get. I got this other house for my assistants and, my runners and my producers and stuff. So we bought a house after that and we just started going crazy with the money. I wasn't paying attention to it. Because, I thought if I didn't have access to my own accounts, that I wouldn't have to look at it. So, you know what I'm saying? It was bad business choices.
Mm-hmm. Who did you sell that Bugatti to?
Back to the dealership I got it from.
Okay.
How much
How
did
much
you
they
get
gave
for
it for you?
Yeah.
I think they gave me $800 for it.
Sheesh.
Oh,
Wow.
God.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as I drove it off the lot, it probably went to that.
And you bought it brand new?
So when
Yeah.
Brand new and it had a hole in the radiator and no warranty?
No, I put the hole in the radiator.
how'd you do that?
Just driving it fast everywhere.
When you say you was broke, was you at like $0 broke?
I had to borrow money to get my kids Burger King.
Wow.
Yeah.
After having, what's the most you ever had in the bank at one time?
$40 million. It was a lot of bad investments. A lot of things.
What did you invest in that didn't work for $40 million? What were you invested in?
Real estate.
Real estate?
Yeah.
Shoot.
You buy retail?
No, but I was letting my manager do it, and he was way more optimistic than I was.
So what do you mean optimistic?
He didn't know what
Like
he
he
was
would
doing.
just buy complete dumps and think that we can just paint, and then we should be
He didn't
fine.
know what he was doing.
Never sold anything that we bought.
Even now, like none of those areas y'all bought in became
We had to
gentrified?
let him go. We had to let him go. No, I mean we just had to let everything go. So
Is there anything if you'd have held on to would be worth a lot now?
No, not at all.
My
These were in
God.
terrible neighborhoods. So my managers lived. So it was like, I'll just get some shit down the road. I
man.
can check on it every now and then, and just like,
Oh,
yeah,
my
crack
God.
house
So
for
it
sure.
never worked out.
Still a
Never
crack
worked out.
house to this
Still
day.
a crack house right now. People fucking in there right now. I guarantee it.
Man, I fuck with T-Pain, man, for always sharing these vulnerable ass topics that nobody really want to talk about and so many people never talk about. There's so many people in the game that was notorious for going broke, and they would confirm that yes, they did go broke, but they wouldn't go into detail to let us know how we can avoid those same mistakes. But that's one thing T-Pain always been great at. He always opened up about it and laughed about it, even if it seemed as if he felt kind of awkward about doing it, which most of us would. Talk about going from 40 million to $0. That's a tough pill to swallow. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned in for the whole video, man. We gonna go ahead and talk about it. What's good? I'm an independent artist by the name Timeless Rock with TR Mentality, man. And before we get into the video, make sure y'all own your own shit. And in this clip, we got T-Pain explaining how he lost $40 million. Now, there were 2 major points that he made about what caused him to go broke and spend that $40 million and leave him with $0, to where he ended up saying he had to ask his friends to borrow some money to go ahead and buy his kids Burger King. And obviously, that gotta be one of the craziest drops we ever seen. But to get into the first point, it was ridiculous spending. It was spending money on things that he really didn't need, but just wanting to do it. And a lot of people talk about this. This is probably one of the most common reasons why people go broke, where they just see the money coming in and they think it'll never stop, so they go ahead and they just start spending. Obviously, when everybody get money, when you come from nothing, you just want to get everything that you always wanted growing up. You want to get the things you saw people had, but you knew you couldn't get it. And then when you accomplish your dreams, everything you seen in your dreams you want. You don't care how much it costs. He said he spent $1.2 million on a Bugatti, which then he ended up having to sell 5 months later because he didn't want to replace the radiators, which he said costed $90,000. And at that point, he already was on the line line of just becoming broke and didn't have any money, which he ended up losing $400,000 on that car, buying multiple houses for his team and himself, most likely bought a lot of jewelry. Y'all know how it goes. Just crazy spending money on things that you want. And of course you want to go ahead and treat yourself and you want to buy things. Obviously you don't want to just be one of them people that never buy things that you want. You got to have some fun. But just like anything, you could take that super far too. Going into the second point, which a lot of people never really get to this point where they don't really make this decision. A lot of people talk about it, but maybe they didn't, and then they look back and say, damn, I should have did that. He actually did it, and that was bad investment. Obviously we see a lot of people that do number one, where they spend a lot of money on things they don't need, but they never really get into investing. That's something that a lot of people that went broke didn't even talk about, because maybe they didn't have any knowledge on it, or they thought it was that risky word that everybody loved talking about when it comes to investing. But he said he went ahead and made some bad investments into real estate. Now that leads us into the third bonus mistake, listening to people that didn't have any knowledge. He should have did some research on his own. He said his manager went ahead and said, yo, let's go ahead and invest into some real estate. He didn't know anything about the game. Real estate is one of those games that a lot of people hear about and a lot of people want to do in their life. If you don't get the knowledge, that can go very bad for you. It's a lot of people that talk about it's very hard to lose money in real estate, because just like everything else, if you do your research, you'll know exactly what you need to look for, and it should be able to put you in a position where you wouldn't lose any money on that deal. As long as you buy it in the right neighborhoods, you understand where that neighborhood is headed. Everybody talks about how location is the number one thing when it comes to buying real estate, so try to foolproof the whole real estate game as much as you possibly can. But T-Pain said his manager went ahead and said, yo, let's go ahead and buy this. They was buying it in terrible neighborhoods in South Florida, and they ended up having to let everything go, thus losing all the money they went ahead and invested into the real estate game. And then next thing you know, T-Pain had to go ahead and take those calls from his accountant telling him, bro, you ain't got no money in the bank. And that was a hard pill to swallow, because like I said in the beginning of the video, when you got that money coming in, it's hard to see an end to it. And especially if you're doing what T-Pain said. T-Pain said he wasn't even looking at his account. He didn't want any access. He didn't want that gut feeling that so many of us have when we start from nothing and we start getting a little bit of money and we looking at our account, we kind of scared to spend $1 type shit. I'm sure a lot of y'all know the feeling I'm talking about. So he went ahead and gave somebody else access to it and didn't ever want to look at it and just assume money was going to be there whenever he wanted to go ahead and spend. So I guess y'all can say that was his fourth mistake. But hey man, y'all go ahead and let me know y'all thoughts on the video. Let me know which one of these mistakes resonated with you the most, and which one are you going to go ahead and start looking into the most, that you can avoid these same mistakes that T-Pain made to lose that $40 million. And go ahead and add to the topic down in the comment section below as well, and I'm going to go ahead and get right back to y'all. We can go ahead and have a great conversation down there. And if you rock with the video and you agree with what I'm talking about, make sure you go ahead and hit like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and I'm out of here, man.
I don't want them in my business, I'ma set it straight. I don't feel a need to demonstrate with lovers like I got it going hella right. And if they ask you how I feel, smile and tell them that you know the deal. We gon' ride until the wheels fall off. I don't wanna see nobody on my line. If you wasting my time, I'm on my grind. I've been busy for the week, honestly.